Any other questions?
That was fabulous.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Fabulous.
There was one particular sequence in when you were decelerating towards the end,
Yeah.
where it sounded like it was coming from a different part of the room.
Yeah. Yes. Well, that's the other thing. The bowls are omnidirectional, and the acoustics are all. Stuff happens. I can't explain all of it, but yes, I often have that sensation. I'm playing it here, and it sounds like it's coming from over there.
Did you play the Zildjian towards the end?
I don't remember.
It sounded like another instrument of some kind of that went on and on and on. It sounded. What was that one?
This is a found object. You know those beds the inflatable beds that and comes with a pump? Well, this attaches the pump to the bed. But it also makes a very mysterious sound.
That's the one.
And I'm altering the note by how
Sure,
hard
yeah,
I'm blowing
right,
through
yeah.
it. So, yeah.
That's one thing that I did hear that I said where.
What is...
If this was in Hawaii, I would be saying Oahu.
Right.
Peter, you said you had a ritual that you do. Would you tell us about your ritual?
Well, I want to be a vessel. I want to be a channel when I do this work. I believe these bowls these instruments have healing ability. They have the ability to change our consciousness, to bring us back to center, to remind us of our true nature. They take us away from the chitta, what the Hindus call the chitta, the chatter in our mind, right? And they align us. They bring us back into touch with something that we can't put into words. So if I'm going to do that, I need to get myself out of the way as much as possible. So I have a certain, I usually come into a space before people are here. I had to be able to work with what is, because we have this one room. And you're all here, and you're having fun and talking and eating and drinking, and that's fine. I can't, that's how it is. So, but usually I would go into a room ahead of time and sort of work with the energy and try to clear the room, maybe bring some sage in and smudge it, or walk the perimeter with a tingsha or something and clear the room, and I couldn't do that. So I had to do what I could, which was to, a couple of people said, can we help you set up? And I said, no, because that's part of my getting myself in state, is bringing the instruments out and setting them up. And I have a friend who's a professional magician. And he came, one time we were giving a concert, and there was some mistake on the flyer. Some of them said 7:30 and some of them said 8. And he came early. And I was there setting up, and he said, is it all right if I sit here and watch you? And I said, fine, and I was doing this. And by the way, this is about half or so, maybe 2/3. I have more that I just couldn't bring them. They're too heavy. Some of the really big ones and some others. But anyway, I was in the process of setting them all up, and Alan was sitting there, and he said, I feel like I was very privileged, like if you ever come to a magic show, that would be like me letting you into the dressing room and showing you how I'm setting up my tricks. I said, there's no tricks. He said, I know, but this was as important as watching and hearing you play them. So there's the whole process is part of the ritual. And then I excused myself and I went to my room and I changed. And for me, in NLP we talk about an anchor. So for me, certain clothing is an anchor for me of being in that performance mode. I'm taking a different persona on. I'm calling in all my shamanic allies and saying, help me do this. The best medicine people I know say this is, we do this for the good of the people. So that this is medicine. It's sound medicine, but it's not specific. It's more of a panacea. Energy workers often say the energy flows where it needs to go, right? I don't need to direct it. I just, helping move it, and it will get, and I've felt that with the sound as well, that I don't need to know exactly, you have, asthma, let me play this ball, or you have a torn muscle, or whatever. The sound goes where it needs to. It seems to be absorbed. I studied with a French sound healer for a while back in the 90s, early 2000s, named Fabien Mamon. And Fabien was a fabulous conglomeration of things. He was an acupuncturist and an Aikido master, and taught Qigong, and a musician, and just this and a sound healer. And he was working with the tuning forks, and he taught how to use the tuning forks to do acupuncture instead of needles. And he said you can feel when you strike the fork. And it was way beyond me, because you had to have a really good understanding of 5-element theory, like traditional Chinese medicine, which I don't really know that much about. But he was.
Somebody trying to get in.
He taught us how to, strike a fork and then place it, and you could feel when it would be absorbed. The sound would be absorbed. It would take in as much as it needed, and then it wouldn't take any more. So you can feel these things and you can hear them. I like performing for hypnotists because they get it. You understand what trance is. That's what this is. This is another form of trance induction. And I also enjoy performing with other sound healers. So I have some recordings that I've made, CDs, if I had an unlimited budget, I would have brought my band with me.
He has this woman that he plays with sometimes.
Naz Hosseini.
Amazing.
Yeah, her voice sounds like the wind. It sounds like birds and trees. It sounds like, it's very hard to describe, but she's really extraordinary. And a couple other people who play instruments like the didgeridoo and the nose flute and bird calls, and just really interesting combinations of sounds. And we set up sound baths where we literally surround people. People are laying down in the center, and we set up gongs and rain sticks and drums and so forth all around the perimeter of the room, and then they're bathed in sound from 360 degrees. It's interesting what you can do. We're used to hearing sound performed from you're sitting in the audience. You go to a concert, whether it's classical or rock or folk, you're sitting in the audience. Performers up there, but in tribal communities, everything was done in a circle. So it was more shared, and